Hello everyone, it is Reverend Dr. Katie. I am posting while out of town again, so actually I am pre-recording this, and that's very rare for me because I like to do this live so that you can ask me live questions. But the internet where I'm staying is not so great, so I did not want to risk a live recording and have it be choppy or fuzzy or cut out or have the sound go all weird. So I'm going to go ahead and just pre-record this one, and we can still have all the conversations that we usually have about it, and it will go up in all of the usual places. So today I am going to talk to you a little bit about integrating metaphysics with your Christian faith life. And I'm going to do that with the example of angel numbers. So we have three things we're going to do on this video. One, talk about that process of integration, so important for you. Two, we're going to talk about angel numbers and patterns that angel numbers bring about in our lives and how to pay attention to those, what to do with those. And third, I'm going to draw an angel card for you from this lovely deck just to set the tone for our weekends. So let's talk about that integration first. So many of you I know feel like you have metaphysics over here, and maybe you've been practicing metaphysics and aware of those realities for a long time, but you're kind of like that. You're afraid to open up that door and open up your hand and really receive everything there is to receive. And then you have your Christian faith journey over here, and you feel like these are separate and like they're drifting away from each other. Let me tell you how that makes, when I was in that position, how that made me feel. It just makes me feel like spiritually closed up and dry, and like you're in a mix master all the time, like a huge highway mix master, and you're always going like this, but you can never quite get on the highway that you want to be on. You're supposed to be on 100 over here, but you're ending up on I-79 going the wrong way over there, and so that's not the place that we want to be. Instead, we want these worlds to integrate, because we know that we cannot go anywhere where God is not present. There is no good that can come into our lives that is not from God. God is abundance. So these worlds need to come together. If you are struggling with having those worlds come together, continue to watch through the rest of this video. This is the one that you need. And if you feel like there's not a lot of conflict, you're still going to get something out of this video as well, because we all have more integration that we can do. I do as well. Every day we are learning. Every day we are becoming more Christ-like. Every day I'm like, oh, look at what Spirit brought to me. Look at what Spirit had to teach me. We're all ascending all of the time. So the good news is we never ever finish this journey. We never ever finish learning. So that's really beautiful. That's something that we love. So let's talk about this in terms of angel numbers. I had a post yesterday that just asked people, what are repetitive numbers that you see? And there were just a slew of posts. It was really fun to see everyone's post. I saw a lot of questions though. I saw a lot of questions like, could this be my lucky number? Or I see these numbers over and over and over again, and I have for decades, sometimes even longer than decades, by many decades. And so let me address some of those questions really quickly. Angel numbers are not ancient. They don't come from the Bible. We do have important numbers in the Bible, of course, and some numerology, but the concept of angel numbers, like we know them today, is relatively contemporary. It's relatively modern. That doesn't mean that they don't have significance. I think that they do. Things like angel numbers are telling us about patterns that we are recognizing in our own lives so that we can make a change or continue a particular direction that we're being led to go, in order that we can serve ourselves and that we can then serve humanity. So angel numbers can be very personal. I've seen fives for about 2 years, and I knew that big changes were happening in my life. That was not a surprise at all. And so the fives were a confirmation that yes, these changes are happening, keep on going in that direction. I never felt the need to switch directions, to turn directions. Instead, those fives were a nice indicator that yes, I'm going in the right way. And there's ups and downs, right? And I listen to Spirit as I go. If I see fives for 15 years, that might be another kind of signal that I need to pay attention to, that I might need to turn directions, to change directions. Now I don't see them as much because life has kind of settled down, and I have my little paths forward that I'm listening to with Spirit. And one of those paths is doing exactly this, helping you integrate metaphysics into your daily Christian life, to help Christians feel very secure, to help Christians live a deep and thriving spiritual life so that you can contribute to the world. And when we close in spiritually and we don't integrate all of those things, we start to kind of wither. We start to feel like the metaphysical life and the Christian life are separate, that they drift apart, that we can't partake of all of that in its fullness, instead of knowing absolutely certain that God is abundance and every good thing that comes to us comes from God. So with angel numbers, I saw some of you were asking, like, could this be my lucky number? So I just have to tell you right now, no one can answer that for you except for you. What I can help you do is give you the tools to be able to answer that yourself. I can teach you how to pay attention to patterns in your life, including angel numbers, but those are the tip of the pattern iceberg, so that you can be truly aware of all of the metaphysical realities around you, so that you can live deeply into your Christian calling, help discern your Christian calling, discern your life purpose, and the many ways that that can be lived out, or your life purpose says. We all have them. And then soar and take off in new directions or expanded directions, right? Angel numbers can help give you some surface clues about what's going on. And you might have repetitive numbers. I saw some really beautiful examples with like birthdays of children and parents and other loved ones, or anniversaries or significant dates, and the same numbers come up over and over and over again. So those are beautiful expressions of life patterns. But we're given these numbers, but then we have to do something with them. You can have numbers repeat all day long, every day, every minute of every number sequence that you look at. But if you don't know what to do with it, it's not going to do you a whole lot of good, right? So they're either giving us confirmation, they're either giving us a little signal, like maybe it's time to tweak our vibration, to tweak the way that we're thinking about the world. For instance, if you're thinking, I'll never have happiness, or I'll never have peace, you might see a lot of ones. And every time you see those ones, you can think, oh, yeah, I got to change the way I think about that. If you're convinced you'll never have peace, guess what? You'll never have peace. If you're convinced that you can never explore metaphysics and Christianity, guess what? You can never explore metaphysics and Christianity together. However, if you start to say, I'm ready to take that leap and I can explore those things together, I'm ready to weave those into my life, then guess what? You will start to get ready to do that. So use those angel numbers to help give you some ideas about patterns. Now, I saw a couple of you said, I don't really see repeating patterns. That's okay. Numbers are just one way. We are always seeing repeated patterns throughout our lives. Everyone does. Whether that's repeated stories that we tell ourselves and we're called to change the story that we tell, whether it's repeated messages that get delivered in 15 different ways by 15 different people, or by stories or books that we read, right? We see repeating patterns throughout our life. Numbers are a quick, easy signal to be able to identify some of those patterns, or just pay attention and tune into them, but they are not the entirety of the message. Numbers are never the entirety of the message. They are the surface indication of the message, inviting us to go much deeper. They're inviting us to go within. When you are ready to go within and get really serious about that internal journey, send me a private message, send me an email. Let's explore that together. I would love, love, love to help you get there so that you can live your fullest life possible. That's one of the things I'm here to do. All right, so integrating Christianity and metaphysics, filling that spiritual well so you do not feel closed off and spiritually disconnected, spiritually dry. It's like the worst feeling in the world. That will tear your soul up. Don't want your soul to be torn up. I want it to be alive and luscious and thriving with spirit. Angel numbers are signs in your life. They are not the entire message of your life. When you're ready to figure out what the entirety of the message is, or at least a bigger portion of that message is, that's what I help people do, is identify those patterns and figure that out. So that's the fun with angel numbers. So I love seeing the people's repeated patterns. I responded to a few of you in that post, and I have another video or two about angel numbers, so I'll be sure to post those too so you can see them. So one of the ways that we akin to angel numbers are angel cards. Again, these are tools. These are all just tools Angel numbers are not God. Angel cards are not God. They are tools to help us find our messages and find our purposes, right? And we use law of attraction to, we attribute to law of attraction the availability of these kinds of tools, right? You don't have to use these tools, but they're handy and they are kind of fun. So this is just a really simple angel deck card, angel card deck. So I'm going to draw one right now and just ask for the card that we need to set our tone for the week to help us, everyone watching, integrate our metaphysical and our Christian faith journey together. This is a pretty quick draw, and so you probably hear the shuffling on my knee. I'm sitting in this kind of strange position on the floor because it's the only place I could find with good lighting in here. So now I'm starting to get foot starting to go to sleep a little bit. All right, so I'm kind of waiting on the right card to emerge. And you know that when you start to use cards, you start to know that feeling when you get to it. That's the one. Okay, so our card is, I haven't looked at it, relationship. This one has come up before in this group. It's relationship. I'm not even going to read this for right now. I'm just going to speak to it. We're going to read it later. So we have this unicorn, this beautiful unicorn, one of a kind. Unicorns are a symbol for Christ. They are a symbol for Christ, especially in the Middle Ages, because they're one of a kind. And I like unicorns. Unicorns pop up from here and there in my life in different ways. So the relationship that's being talked about here is your relationship with God. It is your relationship with Source. It is your relationship with Christ. You are called to be more like Christ every single day. So am I. So is every Christian. We are always becoming more and more like Christ, hopefully. Days when we don't, we have the chance to start again. That is what grace is all about. So this is about relationship with God, and in thinking about what the question was for the card, which was to help us integrate our metaphysical life and our Christian faith life. This relationship is longing for you to weave it together if that's something you have not started already. If it is something you've started already, then you are called to continue that pathway. Either way, if everything struggles with that, you need to let me know so that I can be the most helpful for you. So in this relationship, when we connect with God, when we become more Christ-like every day, we are connecting with ourselves. The most important relationship you have is with yourself. It's not with a spouse, it's not with a parent, it's not with a kid, it's not with a best friend. If you're not happy in your relationship with yourself and with God, those relationships will also not be happy, and you will be constantly looking for external validation about every single thing that you do. And I've got to tell you, I've been there, I have done it. It's exhausting. It is absolutely exhausting. It depletes our spiritual well. It does not help us integrate. It helps us disintegrate instead. And so the relationship here, I just feel this really strongly for all of you, for myself from my past, and my constant integration with myself and with God now, that building that relationship with God, taking time to do that, and doing that with the help of metaphysics is really, really handy and a nice way to jumpstart that. Building that relationship is really critical. That's why you're listening to this video. There are other ways to do this, but this is the way that I teach how to do this, and a way that's been very, very effective for me. And in fact, I've been telling people, I've come to discern for myself lately and been telling people that I know I wouldn't have become ordained, at least not in the same way that I did, without my metaphysical journey. That's what helped lead me to confirm that ordination, becoming a minister, was the right path for me, because that's not an easy leap to make, because it's like a lifelong commitment. It's for forever. That relationship will outlast any relationship I have with any human. My relationship to being a minister, to my church, to myself, and to God, right? Every other relationship I have flows out of those. And the same is true for you and your Christian calling too. All of your good, healthy, positive relationships will flow out of the relationship you cultivate with God, with yourself. And if you are feeling like metaphysics and Christianity are two separate things, or you're like sort of wildly grasping for angel numbers, but you're not willing to do anything with them, you're going to feel like they're drifting apart and not like they're coming together. And you do want to feel like they're coming together. Let me go ahead and read to you what's on the card as well, because that might be helpful for us too. Your primary relationship is with yourself and God. There we go. Every other relationship follows from there. To attract, heal, or balance a relationship, then snuggle more closely with your loving creator. And I love that, snuggle more closely. As you feel safe and loved within, so shall your other relationships bloom and prosper. So really the quickest way I know to heal any kind of fractured relationship is to start your metaphysical Christian journey, to get that settled, to feel safe and secure, to build a really solid foundation so that you can be of help to yourself and to others. All right, I think that's enough for today. I will welcome your questions. I will be attentive to the comments so that we can have conversations since this is pre-recorded. I hope you're all doing really well and that this gives you a great start to your weekend, and I will see you soon.